Hello, my name's Jo Milner, and I started coming to the clinic in middle of October 2017, and I had been diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer, and had got to the point where it had spread throughout my abdomen, my liver and my lungs, and I had very severe side effects. I had diarrhea that was pretty much unstoppable. I had sickness almost constantly, and I was very, very weak, and had also, that was on the back of having been diagnosed at the end of 2013 with a primary breast cancer tumour. I had a mastectomy and reconstruction at that time. I also had the full chemotherapy for 6 months, and docetaxel and epirubicin, the standard chemotherapies for breast cancer. I was at that point estrogen and progesterone positive, so it was hormone driven. And then my cancer recurred in 2016 in my sternum. I found that in the UK, unfortunately, that waiting times were very frustratingly long, and through a lot of determination I was eventually offered a sternotomy at the Royal Brompton Hospital next door to the Marsden. So I underwent the full sternotomy, which is the removal of the sternum. They gave me a reconstituted one, and I was also had to, for that operation, have a clear PET scan, which meant that I had to be seen to be clear of cancer before they would go ahead with such a major operation. Within 3 months, by January 2017, the cancer had metastasized. And by that time, my cancer had been biopsied and it was shown to be triple negative. It was extremely aggressive. It had moved from a position of not being visible on a PET scan in September 2016 to January 2017 to being clumps of tumours. So it was on fire, it was motoring, as they say, so it was extremely worrying. I'd also been through, I went through, following that at the Royal Marsden. Basically, I went there because it was the best, it seemed to be the best cancer hospital in the UK. I was treated there with immunotherapy, pembrolizumab. They gave me. I had to go through a number of tests for that, a horrible liver biopsy. And the problem with the trial, going through such a trial, is you can take no other treatments. You just have to take that single drug and no more. So you can't take any supplements, you can't, even teas they warned me of, certain sorts of herbal tea. So you're very, very restricted for trial reasons, and this is where there comes into conflict. Trial and health, really. I think there's a bit of individual health. But, and I was selected for the pembrolizumab. There's 2 arms of it where you could be selected randomly for the chemotherapy or the actual drug. I got the pembrolizumab, found that I had vicious side effects. Within 2 to 3 months, my cancer had actually become far more aggressive. It had grown even more with the pembrolizumab. They put me on steroids, so it was advancing at a very, very fast rate. At that point, I started looking for I'd been doing a lot of research because I was beginning to give up on the UK system, simply because At that stage 4, I felt that I wasn't being individually treated. It was a one-size-fits-all approach, and my individual symptoms weren't being properly recognised. I didn't really feel cared for. At that stage, I actually felt a bit written off for having stage 4 cancer, as if before stage 4, all resources are thrown at you, such as the UK has at the moment. But after stage 4, you feel a bit abandoned, and it's not worth spending any money on you. They've given up on you almost by that time. So I moved on to another trial, which was, it was actually blocked a certain DNA mutation that I have, and that worked on my liver but not my lungs, because I have a metaplastic cancer, so it means that it's different in different parts of the body. So it was still advancing. So by the time that I came to the clinic, I was dying. I had months to live, and I was very aware of that. I managed to get on a flight, and I had done a bit of research into the clinic and found and looked at YouTube clips of it, and liked the metabolic approach. I really felt there was a lot of scientific research supporting it, and it's a growing body of evidence. At the moment it's still quite early, but I felt it's very convincing. There are small scale trials, but these trials seem to be supported by solid evidence, and I really felt this was the clinic for me. I'd looked around at clinics in Mexico and Germany, and this one really seemed to be the best from every perspective, especially when I was sinking all my resources into it. It had to feel right. So I came here by myself, and I met Dr. Slocum, and I had the scan, and he basically told me how serious it was. But at that point then, it's like standing on the edge of a very high cliff. You don't want to look down. So I really didn't want to look at my scan results. I just needed to know how bad they were, and that was enough for me, just to keep me positive, really. I didn't want to know the absolute explicit detail, but I think that's really up to individuals as to how, whatever helps them, as to how they approach that. Dr. Slocum suggested to me, and indeed said that because I was so ill, that really I couldn't come here without having support. So I phoned up some friends who were fantastic, who came out on the next flight and looked after me here. And I've been coming, as I said, since middle of October, and each time I've come with friends, and they've been fantastic. So, and by the end of 5 treatments in January 2017, I had a completely clear PET scan, which was amazing. It was more than I would have ever hoped for. At the time, I was simply hoping to buy some time to live. Just live with a quality of life slightly longer, to get rid of these horrible side effects that I was afflicted by. And the last scan I had a few months back, the cancer had returned, because it's such an aggressive cancer, so it wasn't a surprise to me, but slightly. But even then, now I still feel that it has given me a fantastic quality of life, and every day is a bonus. And I hope that it will be stabilised in the future. I really, really wish this was available in the UK, and I'll do all I can to campaign for that, because it does work, and I've seen it with so many patients that I've met at the clinic. I'm absolutely convinced. I hope this encourages other people to perhaps get over their fears about perhaps coming to Turkey and getting on a plane, perhaps, and also perhaps just thinking things through for yourself, and not taking your oncologist's absolute word for it. Think through what's best for you as well. Okay, thanks.